Deconverted man here. Don't worry. Your earphones are fine, and or your speakers. Alright, so, just wanted to pretend that I was screaming. This is Blastermaster's fault. He wanted me to review this video. I don't review... I mean, do I review videos? I don't know what I do anymore. So I'm going to review the video, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to look at the video. I'm going to talk about the video. Here's the video. There's them looking at another video, and then them responding to that video. So now I'm responding to them responding to a video. Now, I'm at 6:04. No reason. Just that's where I'm at, I guess. Like, they didn't really start saying anything until about here, I don't think, that, was worth responding to. So, I guess this is what I was given to check out, like, this time index. I think, actually, it was, like, way further down the line I was given. Anyways, whatever. We're gonna play it from here, and if I missed something, I bet I didn't. I'll guess I go back. Whatever.
Interesting at all.
No, that sounds completely depressing or interesting because not only that, so you don't believe in God, you think you have. I think atheism is a lazy approach of spirituality.
What? A lazy approach to spirituality. Atheists, I dare say, broadly speaking, tend to not believe in spirituality in a religious sense, although they might call certain things they do spiritual, but it's a weird sort of insult. I guess it's an insult of sorts. But even if something is lazy, that doesn't make it false or true, for that matter. So whether something is lazy or not is irrelevant to the truth of the matter. What we're trying to get to, hopefully, is the truth. Right?
I think the fact that it's so I don't know which one to choose, let me sit back and default and just wait. And let me just think that when I die, I think that's scarier than anything. Just to think you're gonna die and everything just go black. That's scarier than the heaven and the hell.
But, well, once you go black, you don't go back. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a joke there. You won't even be aware that there's nothing there. As far as I can determine, I could be wrong about that. I don't really have any belief about the afterlife or if there is one. I don't know if it's just nothingness or if I'll even know that I'm not there. I have no idea about any of that. And I'm not interested in finding out anytime soon. So yeah, but I don't know. But whether something is scary or not doesn't matter. It could still be true or false. Just because something is scary to you doesn't make it false or true. It just doesn't matter. How you feel about any given thing doesn't make that thing true or false. It's just irrelevant. It's just a feeling.
Because heaven and hell know that there's a tangible, physical place that your spirit, no, that your soul is gonna go. Um, they just believe somebody hit you with a car right now, black, no existence. That's scary.
Yeah, and that might be what happens. So what? So it's better to believe in something that's not scary because it's just better to believe that, or it's more palpable. It tastes better, feels better to believe something else. You might believe that heaven and hell are physical locations, although some believers don't believe that they're physical locations, but no matter how you frame that, your beliefs are just that, beliefs. And I don't happen to hold those beliefs. But that doesn't tell us whether those beliefs are true or false.
I feel like I don't necessarily think it's lazy.
I think
feel
it's
like
I think
they
it's
actually
lazy.
do more work to disprove what's already been proven.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think has been proven that somebody is trying to disprove? Do you have examples that you want to provide of things that have been proven that somebody is working to disprove? If you have proof, then please, by all means, provide that proof. If you had proof of a particular version of God and you could provide that proof, I would accept that is God. However, it seems to be the case that all the theists that I have encountered thus far have no proof. What they have are bad arguments, not proof. So, if they had a good argument, that'd be something at least to explore, but they don't even have good arguments. So, that's a problem. But again, whether it's lazy or not, it just doesn't matter. But you think that they're working to disprove something that has been proven without saying what that is. And could it be that you think it's proven, but actually it isn't proven? Could it be that the person is trying to explain how what you thought was true is not true? For example, in this video that I'm doing now, I'm attempting to explain to them, even though they probably won't watch this video, the logical progression of ideas and thoughts that we have. You're responding to, well, probably an AI-ish generated video of sorts. You're talking about atheism, broadly speaking, or maybe the person wrote a script and had a bot read it. I don't know. You're not responding to an entire channel, by the way, even though your video is called Responding to an Atheist Channel. It should be Responding to an Atheist Video, but whatever. Okay. And you're deleting this video today, apparently. Although the video was made 7 days ago. So I don't know, maybe you added that today, and we'll see tomorrow if this video gets deleted. I don't know, whatever. Weird. I delete videos sometimes, but this one I'm not going to delete. Unless I do, eventually. But not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's just weird labeling. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Working hard to disprove what exactly? So, I don't know.
So they have to find information to back up, or what they think is backing up their claim. As
Yeah, having to find information to back up your claim is a good thing to do. And it's really hard to do it. It's easy to just make a claim. Anyone can claim anything. Hey, look, I've got a magical thing. This is magic. What is it? It's magic. How does that work? It's just magic. What makes it magical? Well, I said it was magical. So, yeah, anyone can make a claim. Backing up your claim is really important. You don't want to just believe something for the sake of belief, right? You want to know whether it's true or not. Now, you think certain things are true and that people are working hard to disprove those things, but you haven't demonstrably demonstrated that those things are true, and or that there's proof of them, and or that people have worked to disprove them, and or that their disproof of them is somehow flawed. So all of that would require you to put forth effort on your part to back your claims, which you're not doing.
to, like you said, the evidence of certain things that are unknown. They can ask a million questions about things that they say there's no proof of,
Yeah.
and then want to, debunk you based off of their their lack of knowledge when it comes to that no faith base. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm not gonna say it's lazy. I think they actually do over an abundance of research to try to disprove what's already been proven.
But the
I'd love to know what things you think have been proven, but doing research and analysis and data gathering is really important. Look at some of the comments you guys have gotten. Some of them are positive because they're preaching to you, the choir, so to speak. Yay, go God! But the rest that are atheist comments are just trying to explain to you what you seem to have missed in this video. That's explaining what atheism is about, or rather, what it isn't about, and going into some broad brush strokes of our exploration as humans into the unknown. There's plenty of things that are unknown out there, and asking questions and zillions of questions is a good thing. It seems to me that you are somewhat against that if that question interferes with your belief somehow, then that question must be wrong or something like that. I'm not seeking to disprove anything. I'm seeking to find the truth. And sometimes asking questions is a good way to go about attempting to do that.
lack of the belief side, I feel is lazy. And it's like, since I don't know, I can't. Since a person says this, this is me talking as third person. That's not me. They're saying I don't believe something. There's a big God out there. So let me just work my hardest to prove there's no big God.
Right.
Versus,
No, that's not what any atheist that I'm aware of is really trying to do, broadly speaking. There are exceptions, and there's a little asterisk there, but I'll get to that in a moment. No, atheists are just asking for the theists to uphold their burden of proof. They have made a claim. The specific type of God exists in a certain way, and the atheist just doesn't believe that. In regards to you guys, you're Christians. So presumably you don't believe in the Hindu gods. Shiva the Destroyer, for example. That's one of many Hindu gods. I just happen to remember his name. Vinishu. There's another one. I don't know the rest. But you don't believe in any of those, and probably you haven't read anything that the Hindus have written about any of those gods. Why would you? Why would you bother? You don't know anything about it. You don't believe in it, and it might not be interesting to you. And so why would you investigate it? Why would you care? In some religion that you've never heard of. Again, you're not gonna know anything about it, so there's zero investigation to be made about it. But if somebody claimed, "Hey, look, my God is real," and you say, "What are you talking about?" "Oh no, I believe in the Bible." Listen, I want to tell you about my God, a very different God than your God. My God is from the lobsterist, and it's actually called Lod, Lod, and stands for Lobster Original Deity. It's all outlined in the lobsterist, which you need to read to understand the truth that I'm trying to tell you. And maybe you're disinterested. Maybe you don't want to even look into it because you're happy with your beliefs. You don't want to investigate further because you're satisfied that what you believe happens to be true. On the flip side, I'm very interested in finding out what is true. Now, I won't spend time and energy investigating something unless I'm given a valid and sound argument that compels me to do so, unless I feel like it, because, whatever. But I won't just look into everything that's possibly out there. I just don't have the time or energy or enthusiasm to do so. But if compelled to do so, I will do so. So it seems like you think that the atheist is trying to disprove God. No, atheists, broadly speaking, aren't trying to do that. They're asking the theist to prove their God. The theist just keeps failing to do so. That's the problem. The Hindus haven't proven their God to you for various reasons. Maybe you haven't listened to them. Maybe you haven't read their books. Maybe you haven't listened to their apologetics. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe you just think that you've got the right book and they've got the wrong book. But what if they say, hey, look, we've got all this history and historians to back us up, and we've got all this science to back us up, and we've got this and that and the other. And then you go, no, listen, let me show you where you're wrong. Oh, wait, now you're trying to disprove them. Oh, you're disproving their God by explaining how they're wrong. So could it be that sometimes atheists aren't disproving your God, but they're simply trying to explain what you got wrong and how you got it wrong? That might be the possibility. Now, the asterisk, as I said, is sometimes, yes, atheists will try to disprove a version of God, exposing the bad arguments that God has for it, or the scientific misunderstandings sometimes produced by various apologetic types that are promoting God belief alongside of pseudoscience, like the Earth not being, 4.51 billion years old, or the universe not being 13 billion years old, or biological evolution not being a thing, other anti-science and pseudoscience beliefs that are conjoined and tied in with God beliefs sometimes. Belief in the flat earth is another one. So yeah, people can believe in all sorts of weird things, and when they tie that weird thing into their belief of God and the two are conjoined, if you disprove one, then you've disproven the other. If your God requires that 1 + 1 is 1,000,000, then your God is not possible and doesn't exist. And so perhaps the atheist is simply pointing out that as a matter of fact that, hey, look, the logic here that you're presenting of this particular idea of God is incoherent, and thus that God can't exist, so that the theist then perhaps will come up with a better argument or rethink what God is and come back with that. So regardless, though, all of that does take effort and energy to do so, because explaining what the truth is difficult to do. Again, it's easy to just say stuff. Anyone can just say stuff, but proving it is a whole nother story.
It'll take them less time to have a relationship with God than it takes them to dig in all that crap to find.
It takes less time to have a relationship with God. Well, I don't know that there is a God to have a relationship with, or that God is able or willing to have a relationship with me, because I don't know if there's a God. So, I would think that the amount of time that I spend to try to figure out if there's a God or not, is that going to be small or large? Well, I don't know. I guess it depends upon the claim. And it depends upon what I'm investigating and looking into. But why should you be looking down on that? Shouldn't that be something that's good? Yes, good. Spend time and energy investigating the claim to make sure that it's true. Don't just believe something. Yeah, that's the lazy way out. Speaking of lazy, is just, I'm just going to have a relationship with God because it's just easier. It just saves so much time than looking to see whether or not there is a God in the first place to have a relationship with. I'll just pretend that there is a God, and then I'll have a relationship with that pretend God. Why? Because it's just time saver? That's not a way to get to the truth of the matter. The way to get to the truth is a difficult process, but it seems like you're not in favor of that. Odd.
Find to debunk it. That's an empty place.
Try to debunk it.
If anything, it is compelling, fascinating, and captivating. It is, if not the greatest stimuli of our human instinctive curiosity.
How?
Instead of inserting a God as an explanation when it comes to these gaps in our knowledge about our world that we haven't yet or perhaps never will be able to explain empirically, we should be open to the idea that everything, truly everything, is possible when it comes to answering these deep questions. Since none of us here on planet Earth actually possess the required knowledge in order to truly answer these questions, we then shouldn't be fixated on one simple.
That's another thing that's not true. Just because you don't know.
Or you
don't know a person on this earth that possesses knowledge. There are people that God has given the ability to know and has showed. So what you don't know.
Really? There are people that God has given the ability to know and to show. How do you know that? You're just asserting that that's true without any demonstration that it's true. How would you identify those people? This sounds like a belief statement, not a statement about reality.
It's just you.
And there's been research that supports that Christ lived.
No, for sure.
So
There's been a research that proved Christ lived. Really? What research would that be? Because there's been a research. Do you know the name of the research? Who did it? When? Where? I'm sure you provided that citation in your... Oh, you didn't. Just your ebook and merch and source and a bunch of other stuff that doesn't... It's just social media stuff. Okay, so, yeah, so, but yeah, there's been a research that Christ lived. Sure there has.
it's scientific proof that he existed.
Yeah, they have it now.
They do, really. Scientific proof that Jesus existed. They have that. Where? I'm just asking where. I would like to know.
They have it.
They have it now.
So I'm saying clearly this person is truly absent of.
But that's the atheist.
Truly absent of knowledge and what's current and facts.
That's atheist.
And real facts.
Oh yeah, facts. Because we can just say that about stuff. There's research that shows that Christ didn't live, actually. Up-to-date scientific research. Actually, two researches out there. Two. Not just one, but two. No, actually, sorry, wait, hold on. Oh yeah, sorry, I found 10. I was wrong. 10 researches out there that are all scientific that show Christ didn't exist at all, and actually Christ was just the name of somebody's pet lobster, which, as I've been trying to tell people for years, just proves again the lobsterist is true. And if you haven't read The Lobsterist, I don't know what's wrong with you, but clearly that's the real holy book. Duh! Yeah, there's just 10 researches that disprove your point. Facts. You're just not up to date. Oh, I'm not going to tell you the name of them or where to find them. I'm not going to post a single link to them. I'm just going to say that they're out there, because we can just say stuff is true. We don't need to show that it's true. That would take effort and energy, and you know, it's all been proven, so we don't need to prove it, because of course, oh yeah, they're not up to date. There's a person who does know everything, and that person was Jesus, who we have plenty of proof existed. We don't, but we're going to pretend like we do. Oh, yeah, Jesus was a real smart dude. Yeah. You know, there's a story in the Bible. And I don't remember where it's from. I'd have to pull up the verses exactly. But I'll just give an overview of the story just to show how smart Jesus is. Well, the Pharisees or whoever were talking about washing your hands or, whatever. And the disciples were like, oh, yeah, isn't this, something we should worry about or something? And Jesus is like, don't worry about washing your hands. Don't worry about what goes in your mouth. We'll worry about what comes out of your mouth. That's way more important. Because what comes in, who cares? But what goes out of your mouth, that matters a lot. So you should say stuff about God and how cool God is and stuff like that. Because what you eat don't matter. Or what you put in your mouth, like smoking or whatever, drugs, whatever, none of that matters. None of that matters. Oh, and don't worry about washing your hands either. So that's how smart Jesus was. Jesus was so smart, he knew that washing your hands doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what you put in your mouth. Brilliant man. Just smart guy. Of course, maybe he could have told us about germ theory, that there's germs and you might want to wash your hands before you eat stuff. And maybe he could have told us, yeah, it does kind of matter what you put in your mouth. First of all, it needs to be edible or drinkable, because that's a good thing to do. Yeah, maybe you should eat a well-balanced diet, and here's an idea of what that looks like. Jesus could have explained that. Here's nutrition information. No, Jesus is way too smart for any of that. What I'm trying to say with my sarcasm is Jesus was kind of stupid, if he did exist. Which maybe he did, but the legendary version of Jesus, who walked on water and raised people from the dead, turned water to wine and whatever else he did, yeah, that Jesus didn't exist. Period. Couldn't exist, never existed, is a legend, and fully made up whole cloth. Which does disprove your version of God as a benefit. And there's plenty of researches out there that show that, all scientific. I'm not going to point to any of them, though.
Explanation that, in terms of religion, simply is rooted in a mixture of wishful thinking and the power apparatus of ancient theocracy. And that is really what separates believers from non-believers. You can either be fixated on one simple explanation, which often leads to people sacrificing a great part of their quality of life due to whatever set of rules that follows their indoctrinated belief system, or even worse, sacrificing other people's quality of life with set rules that must be applied on everyone. Or you could come to the realization that everything is possible, which really can lead to some interesting thoughts and conversations if you enjoy philosophizing about the
But
deeper
everything is not
aspects of
beneficial.
life.
That's what the word says. So
One
everything
explanation could be that the entire
everything is permissible, but everything is not
15 seconds
beneficial.
Right.
That's what the word says.
Yep.
So you're
You
right.
can do anything.
Wow. Well, I would disagree with the video, the first video that they're watching, when it says everything is possible. No. Only things that are possible, not everything. The logically impossible is impossible. Paradox is impossible. There's plenty of things that are impossible. But as far as an explanation to things, well, whatever that is whatever that is. And I don't know what that is, but it's going to be logical. That is to say, it's not going to break the laws of logic unless the universe really doesn't care about such things and the paradox is possible. And in that case, we're all cupcakes. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, okay, so it's going to, but yeah, so to object to the idea that everything is possible, I would agree with, but not on the reasons you did. Everything is permittable, that is, everything that you could do on planet Earth is allowed, but there are consequences for that, and that some book happened to notice that and be like, hey, hold on, there's consequences for certain actions. Yeah, duh. No other holy book ever noticed that was the case. Oh, your book is so amazing. Why the dietary requirements might have come about because certain animals weren't just unclean because of God, but difficult to prepare. So they didn't have the ways to prepare them, and so eating them was actually dangerous for the people at that time. So they made up rules and said that God gave those rules so that people would not eat certain animals. That's one possibility. But yes, your holy book, your magical book, says that certain things aren't permitted. So does our society. Also, beyond that, just certain things lead to consequences that you may not enjoy. Yes, you can jump off a very tall cliff into the ocean, but if you didn't bother to see if the water is deep enough for you to land in, you might break your legs, spine, and or entire self. So not good. Also, maybe you want to think about how high you're jumping from and make sure there's not rocks and a whole lot of other things that could potentially go wrong with that before just jumping in. But yes, I agree broadly that things have consequences to them, but just because it's in your book doesn't mean that's where you had to get that bit of information from.
And you want to do
what you want because that's the free will he gives you. But you can't control the consequence based off your choice.
correct.
How about that?
To go with the memory of a
You can't control the consequence based off your choice. I suppose, yeah, you might try to do something that you think is good and or safe or what have you, and the consequences somewhat beyond your control. I don't even know what I'm responding to anymore. Whatever, I don't know.
lifetime and you watching this video planted inside of your head. Another explanation could be that we are in fact living inside a computer simulation, so basically all we consist of is ones and zeros, and the god we should be praising isn't some holy deity. No, it could be a slightly overweight, middle-aged programmer with Cheetos smeared all over his entire face. But I'm pretty sure he won't be answering any prayers either. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is true or makes any sense at all. These are mere two possible explanations out of really an infinite amount. The point is that we don't have any way of knowing if any of these explanations are true, and the same goes for the God hypothesis. So there really isn't any reason why one should spend their whole life with the delusion that the one explanation they have planted inside of their head is the real deal.
Okay. Now, I don't put too much weight into facial expressions, meaning stuff, or whatever. But to some degree, you can kind of tell, to some extent. I don't know how much you can tell. But you can kind of tell what people are feeling by their facial expression, to some extent. I don't know how scientific that is. So I'm putting lots of asterisks after it because I've heard a bunch of videos like, oh, he touched his head. That means blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? Is that really what that means? How do you know that? So, but if you look at their expression and you hear what they're saying, how long is this video? And they're talking over it. They're not really listening to what's being said, per se. They're hearing it, but it's kind of like in the background because they are actively thinking about how wrong and silly it is. Oh, that's silly with the ones and zeros and, you just created that. You came up with that. Yeah, he's trying to illustrate a point. We could be in a giant simulation for all we know, and there is a programmer who themselves is made by something else, or that is an infinite progression all the way up and all the way down, that there's no end to it, that everything is just a simulation ad infinitum. Maybe. Now, I don't think that that is the case, but it could be the case. But rather than listening to that and trying to absorb that and think of the implications of that, it's like, is it over yet? It's just like, it's hurting them, cognitively speaking. So that's just what I perceive in their facial responses and some of what they've said. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's just my view of it. So that, I guess you could call that a review. You're welcome, Blastermaster. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I did that last bit there. Blah, blah, blah. It was fun though. Blah.
Now, I know that some explanations might seem more probable than others, and I guess this is where the interesting thoughts and conversations really can bear fruit, and it is here we can try and fulfill our curiosity by seeking the most likely or perhaps best available explanations that we can gather from our observable universe, as long as we are all aware that the conclusions one might draw from their own reasoning is not something that can, as of now, be verified or tested, and therefore it is not something that qualifies as being the truth. Therefore, we should never settle for the easiest or perhaps most comforting explanations. We shouldn't get fixated on one simple explanation, especially if it's one that's not logically sound. No, we should be open to all possibilities and thrive on our curiosity, and not just put a lid on it with something easy and inconsiderate. But what is the point of living your life if you don't believe in anything, not even an afterlife? Being an atheist doesn't necessarily mean that one doesn't believe in anything. It just means a lack of belief in gods, as I have mentioned. Now, just because one...
Is there any reason he's smacking his lips? Like, is there some cognitive dissonance going on there? Or I'm just making something out of nothing? I don't know.
Doesn't believe in anything in particular, not being fixated on one single belief doesn't mean that that life is not worth living. Just as with the idea of there not being a god, with atheism there is no affirmative belief that there is no god, it's just that there is no evidence that points in the direction of there being a god, and also it's just not a logically sound explanation, as I have also previously mentioned. The same applies to the idea of there being some form of afterlife. With atheism, there is no affirmative belief that there is no afterlife, it's just that nothing really points in that direction.
I would disagree with that point in the video, because atheism has nothing to say whatsoever about whether or not a individual thinks there is or isn't an afterlife. One could very well believe in an afterlife of any kind and still technically be an atheist. The only requirement for being an atheist is not believing in God. So as long as God is not a thing that you believe in, you can believe in anything else, even the supernatural, even an afterlife. You could believe in all the things. As long as none of those things are God, you're fine. You could believe in magic. You could believe in pixies and leprechauns and unicorns and demons and devils and dungeons and dragons and mazes and monsters and the horrors of the existential void that get closer every day. Cthulhu, he's coming for me. I knew it. I put up the elder sign, but it did nothing. Cthulhu. You could believe in all of that and technically be an atheist. So I would disagree with the video there about the afterlife being a thing that atheism also has any link to. I would say, if I was to guess, that most atheists probably don't believe in an afterlife. But I don't have any poll or data to show that's true. So It is a guess. I don't know for sure. But it has nothing to do with atheism per se, at least from the definition of the word. So no to that video. Bad video, first video that they're responding to. Not them. The video that they're looking at video. That video. Boo to that point of it. Please straighten your hat. Why is it bothering me that your hat's slightly tilted? Fix your hat! Also, what's that? Tag on your hat. What is that? Is that part of the hat? Okay, I'm just getting distracted by silly things. Oh no, that's tape. It's got tape to the hat and the... What is that?
The only
Oh no,
thing
wait.
we truly
Huh?
can
What?
confirm,
What
however.
is... Oh no. Okay, I was completely wrong. It's not tape. It's not anything. It's the cupboard behind him showing through his earphone. I thought it was like tape or something. I'm losing my mind here.
We have this life that we know of for a limited period of time, and this is regardless of what you believe.
Incorrect.
So in terms of the question, what is the point of such a life? Well, the way I look at it is that this makes life so much more worth.
And this video is all the supernatural things that speak to an entity God, the Creator, has created.
Everything about the video says
So
speaks God,
How can you say
except for his words.
unanswered questions? How did a seagull get here? How did the water get in
Big
the
Bang
ocean?
just made birds.
Then you got
You
that.
can't.
You really just say the Big Bang made birds. Yes, he did. Everything in this video is speaking to God. This is cognitive dissonance 101 or perhaps 102. This is advanced cognitive dissonance in action, my friends and foes and robots out there. So earlier you said they could keep asking all these questions to disprove the thing. And now you're asking questions about seagulls. But it's just easier to believe that the Big Bang made the seagulls than it is to ask all those questions. So since it's easier to just believe this idea, then why don't you just believe the idea? Oh, you want evidence. You want an answer to the question. And the thing is, for the seagulls, there's an explanation for that. Biological evolution, which is nothing to do with the Big Bang. You guys are scientifically illiterate, I suppose. But not knowing the answer to any given question doesn't mean anything other than you're ignorant. But you're saying that those things in the video, that everything in the video proves God. Whereas I would look at the same video and say, nothing in this video proves God. And that's not the point. The point he is trying to make is to explain what atheism is, at least from his perspective. I don't fully agree with some of the things that he said, but broadly speaking, he got most of it kind of right, which is the most technical type of right, which is the best kind of right. Unless it's not. Anyways, so if everything proves God, then you don't need proof of God. In fact, you don't need faith in God either. God's just so obvious, then why do people have different ideas of what God is? That must be free will, right? Or maybe there needs to be some way to falsify your idea. That might be the case. Or maybe some of those things in the video aren't proof of God. And I'm stealing somebody's question now. Whatever his name is. I don't even remember his name now. That guy. Taking his question. What thing wouldn't be evidence for God? So if you can't point to something and say that's not evidence for God, it's a problem. But you're just saying everything is spiritual, everything in the video is about God. you're twisting my brain around. I can't think it. Oh, my word. Everything in the video is proof that there isn't a God. I could say the same thing, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You need to do better. And talking about missing the point, you guys have missed the point completely and in full. How did those seagulls get there? Very carefully. It took a while.
Mountains back there. He's showing what's appearing to be outer space, a galaxy.
A ball floating just in the middle of nowhere.
Where we at?
Nothing under it,
What?
nothing on the side, nothing on the side, nothing on the top.
Day and time is it? Because man had to create time so we can have a society and function, because there's no really.
God created time.
I'm saying, but we have, like.
God created time? Didn't I just do a video talking about that not making sense? Kinda. Yeah, I did. I did do a video about that not making sense. If there's no time, then God has no time to do anything, even think. Ah, people. I don't know. What is wrong? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with your face? Okay, anyways.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, time, God's time and our time is like not the same.
Yeah.
What?
He operates outside of time.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
Uh-huh.
We operate in it.
So
What?
we can have a function in a world, so we can have a world
Yeah.
with, and function. But technically, is this the right year? Is this the right time? Like, when did it really ever start? You know what I'm saying? We could go deep, but let's not go there.
It's
Oh, asking all those questions. that's just trying to debunk the other side when you said was wrong. Stop asking questions. It's way easier to just believe in all of it without any research or at all. Just believe in it. Are you talking about time as in the time space, or are you talking about time as in like clock time? What? I don't think you know what you're talking about at this point. I don't think you know what you're talking about at this point. In fact, I don't think that you've known what you were talking about this whole time, because you're not actually listening to what's being said. Instead, you're asserting your own ideas as being absolutely right, and you're not listening to understand the other side's viewpoint. I see the seagulls, and I do not see proof of God. Here's why, and I give all my reasons, to which you just go, well, but you didn't explain this thing. And it's like, oh, okay. And then I explain that thing. It's like, well, you're just trying to disprove God, so there's no way to win. On the flip side of things, if either one of you said, here's the thing, here it is, this is God, then at least I have a thing to look at and go, well, what? That's weird. I didn't know that was God. But okay, let's find out what that is and how that works and why we're calling it God, and let's study it and examine it and figure out its properties. But you don't have that when it comes to God. What you seem to have instead is a belief based on, it seems like, ignorance. Where did the seagulls come from? I don't know. Can't just be the Big Bang. Yeah, well, you're kind of right. It's not the Big Bang that brought about seagulls, because that's not how that worked. At least not directly, I suppose indirectly over millions of years. And it's like led up to the thing that allowed that to happen. But yeah, it's very indirect. But then inserting the idea of God to answer those very complicated questions, which earlier in the video that you were not listening to, the person said we shouldn't do. But instead of hearing that and understanding why that might not be a good thing, you do the very thing that the video cautions against doing. Way to miss the point. Anyways, when does this video end? What? They complained about... Yeah, I know they... Look, they complained about when the video was ending, and I complained about them, but see, it's okay when I do it.
Well, it's impossible to infinite God. I'm gonna stop it right there. Even though it's a few minutes, I don't see what else can say outside. But I'm gonna read this Bible scripture.
Okay, and I'm gonna stop it right there because I'm gonna read this Lobster's scripture, and I really am. No. You think I'm joking? Oh no, I'm serious. And I have to go to my own profile to do it because I don't have those things bookmarked. Maybe I should put them on my computer since I mention them all the time. Let's see, where the hell is my... Which one? That doesn't matter. Any of them is fine. Any of them is fine. Alright, let's see. Okay. L9. The word of Laud is true, and all know it after reading, and no one cannot know. I'm sorry, it's not on my screen. It doesn't count. I have to put it on the screen so you know I'm reading from it. Okay, here we go. Now I can read it. Okay, this is supposed to be in lobster font, but something went wrong and it's not. I blame the web expert for that. So this is verse 9, L9. You can clearly see this is the lobsters 3, the holiest lobsterist. Says the word of Laud is true, and all know it after reading, and no one cannot know it. Yeah, there. Deep down, you are born knowing it. For you do good and try not to do bad, and feel bad when you do not do good, and feel good when you do good, and not good when you do bad of the. Yes. It's very deep there. So, you'll notice, perhaps, that there's what we would consider a grammatical error in that sentence. Which is weird that they would include that. But see, you see, the embarrassment criteria shows us that that would be embarrassing to keep around. And that's how we know it's true. Because they wouldn't keep it in knowing that it was wrongly formatted. So obviously it's true. Besides, it said it was true. If you read it, you know it's true. So why haven't these evil, nasty villains read the Lobsterist yet? I don't know, man. They haven't debunked it either. I don't know. Maybe I'm not smacking my lips enough. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you didn't enjoy it, blame Blastermaster. If you did enjoy it, then cool. Thanks. Like the video and leave a comment. I know you're talking in chat, which doesn't count for YouTube, I guess. So yeah, please put some comments in my comment section, because I lost some subs a while back. I don't know why. It's just people vanished. I don't know. And so it's not like I, really need that per se, but I do enjoy it. But also I enjoy you, and your ideas and input are valuable to me. So do that and we interact. Or don't. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care anymore. All right. Thanks, everybody. Captive Desk says lobster. Of course. Yes. And let's see. Yeah, what you do is very deep. Thank you, Diana Cat. Asshole 64 says, all hail Bigfoot. Pretty sure I said his name right. Zazzle, right? Asshole? Yeah, okay. And then, let's see, what else? Did anyone... Nerdy Rodent said God is 40% proof. Nitty said tweet, motherfucker. And, I think... Oh, wait, Pragmatic Crystal said it's orchid seed. And, I'm pretty sure that I got everybody. Captive Desk says stuff. I'm pretty sure I highlighted everybody that said something in chat at some point. If I missed you, then, sorry, I guess. And I'll take aiming lessons so I won't miss you next time. Love is what makes the world go around. Oh, love. I don't know. My hair is a mess. I probably should cut it or something. Not gonna, but I probably should. Vote in the comments if you want me to cut my hair. I don't have a way to end this video. Tempted to just keep rambling. See how long people will stay. I've got 6 people watching. Might as well keep rambling. I can just keep going. Wait, they're probably waiting for me to have a mental breakdown at the end of the video that I do sometimes. But what if I don't have a mental breakdown this time? Then they'll be like, oh, that was so different. The Deconverted Man didn't have a mental breakdown at the end of the video. Well, thanks for watching.